All right. Good afternoon. We welcome you to today's Seymour Scoop. Parents and families, each month we have an opportunity to join you live for a little bit of time throughout the day. We hope that you're having a good lunch, maybe a good lunch break, and we just want to meet with you for a little bit to talk about business services. So today I have with me Miss Daphne Roberts. She is the Assistant Director of Student Financial Services here at Southern Miss. And we are going to talk a little bit today about business services. You've likely heard the term, you've likely heard the title of the office. If you've come to orientations or if you're a couple semesters in with your students at Southern Miss, you've likely recognized business services. But today we're going to talk a little bit more about exactly what business services is, what it means to your students, and what it means to you as a family member. So I want to say welcome. So welcome today, Ms. Daphne Roberts. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start off with just understanding what business services is. So what is business services?
So business services basically handles, like my title says, anything student financial related. We create invoices, we send out monthly bills, we handle any questions that students, parents may have concerning charges on their account, concerning the invoices they've received, concerning payments, basically anything that may be concerned with the charges related on their account. We can, if we can't answer it directly, we can at least point them to the department that may have put those charges on their account.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So where are students, when you mention their account or having to pay a bill, where are students able to locate their university invoice or bill, and in what ways can they make a payment on that invoice?
Right, so everything is located in SOAR. So once a student logs into SOAR, they can click on their dashboard. Then they're able to go through the steps. There is a side menu where they can go through their steps. Then they can then click on student account. And then in that menu box, they will see an option for view invoice. At the same time, that is, you need to remember that that is as is the day it's pulled. The invoice does not update. So we always recommend that you keep an eye on the what I owe screen. I have to remember what it's called. We did an update not too long ago on those screens. So that the page is called What I Owe. That one actually updates in real time. So that will show you any charges that you have on your account minus any pending financial aid. That gives you a better picture of what you actually owe out of pocket. Please keep in mind that if you have pending aid sitting on your account well into the semester, there may be a problem. So don't let pending aid just sit on your account and ignore it and think it's going to happen. It may not happen. There may be something on your end you need to do. You may need to sign a master promissory note. You may need to complete an entrance counseling. So there may be something on your end that you need to complete in order to get that money. So do reach out to us, our financial aid, if you have pending aid sitting out there. But that What I Owe page listed under your student account, that will give you a much better real-time idea of what's going on your account.
Wonderful. So students definitely know what SOAR is. So parents, if you're not aware of what SOAR is, I guarantee you that your student will know exactly what that means. SOAR is also where we talked about, I think last month or a couple months ago when we met with the registrar's office, where they will register for classes. So it's all conveniently located on that same platform. We understand now that students are able to make a payment on the What I Owe page in SOAR. Are families able to make a payment on that same site on the student's account in SOAR? Or is there a different process for families to make a payment on a bill?
The families can make payments as long as the student has set them up on a parent portal. It's relatively easy. So students can go into that same, clicking on their student dashboard. They can then click on, there's an option on that left side, there's an option to manage guests, and then they can add a guest member. And that gives their family member their own login. So it gives them a parent portal. They can select what options they can see we've had situations in the past where students don't want parents to see their grades. So that's between parents and students,
Right.
but they can give them the option to make payments on their account that way. And that gives them their direct portal to where they have their own password and they can set up everything to make payments online that way.
Wonderful. Definitely. So families, you might have heard us mention this at orientations during the summer or at registrar, or when we had our Seymour Scoop with registrar, but FERPA, because of the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, you have to have a FERPA waiver on file. The student has to provide permission. And so you can set up through the parent portal and be able to have access. But that's definitely a conversation that has to happen between you and your student. And we encourage you to have those conversations. Students will be coming home in just a couple of weeks or maybe even days now after final exams next week. And so they'll be home with you for a little while over the holidays. So we encourage you to have conversations with your students about their semester, about their fall semester, about their grades, and then ways that you can maybe be more or less engaged in certain areas of their academics and life on college campus. So we know that at the beginning of the semester, particularly for freshmen during their first semester, they may not understand the inner workings of what tuition is or what is on their account. And sometimes there may be some confusion in what's the difference between tuition cost and course or lab fees. What are course or lab fees and how does that differ from the overall tuition cost?
Right. So tuition charges are based upon your general enrollment hours. It's an hourly fee up to 12 hours for undergrad students. Undergrad there's a flat fee for 12 to 19 hours. Course and lab fees, they will be charged in addition to the tuition fee, but they'll only be charged for classes that we do have a fairly strict process, and we try to get more strict through the years to where a department actually has to submit to go through approval process. And those fees are only charged whenever there may be a special equipment that is needed for that class, any kind of special supplies that the student may not be able to purchase themselves. It's going to be something other than just a textbook that they can buy themselves from the textbook store on campus. There's a lot of science labs, there's a lot of nursing courses, things like that have a lot of those. So those tend to have the higher course fees, and it's just due to the items that they need for those classes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for providing us with an explanation of that. Are students able to set up a payment plan in efforts to pay off the university bill?
We do offer a payment plan. It is for current semester balances only.
Okay.
So as long as the student sets that up at the beginning of the semester, our due dates do start right before classes begin. They're able to take that, we've talked about that what I owe page. They're able to take that amount and set it up into 4 payments for the payment plan. If they move past that, then the payments will be a lot less. The payment amounts will be more because the increments are small. The increments are less. So the payments, if you're only breaking it into 3 payments, then the payment amounts are less. So the payment plan is good to keep you in class, to keep your classes.
So what happens?
Payment is due before class starts.
What happens if the student's bill or invoice is unpaid, if it goes unpaid by a certain date? So whether they have set up a payment plan or if they have not, are additional fees accrued or classes dropped?
So the university policy is that the classes may be dropped.
Okay.
That is the university policy. And that's the reason why, the main reason for that is that there are federal regulations on financial aid moving forward. So if we allow a student to take classes with that balance not being paid, then they may continue to accrue debt for future terms as well. So that we try to keep students from piling debt upon debt. That is not good for them. So it's kind of a hard pill to swallow in the beginning, but I have seen students that it definitely works out much better for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is for sure. Working in the retention office on campus over the years, it's been difficult to see students get to the end of the semester having
Right.
all of these courses and have gone through all this work just to not be able to return in the spring due to a balance. So where it's a little bit more thought and preparation on the front end, it definitely makes it a lot better towards the end of the semester when you're at the holidays, you're at final exams, and it's stressful already. The
It
holidays
is.
are already stressful, and then the exams are stressful. And so that's one less thing that students are having to worry about and think about is, oh, I've got to get my bill paid because I want to come back to classes in the spring. So that
Right. It allows us to have that conversation in July and August whenever something can be done about it, instead of in the hindsight whenever they owe the debt regardless.
that's right.
So it ultimately it is good for the student.
Good. If a student decides to unfortunately withdraw from the university,
Mhm.
Family circumstance, obligations back home, whatever the case
Right.
may be, the student has to withdraw from the university. Are they still obligated to pay their invoice to the school?
We do have a financial drop date each semester for fall and spring. That is on the 6th day of class. So that doesn't include weekends. It's on the 6th day of class. If the student does withdraw past that drop date, they are responsible for their bill. And that is due to the class enrollment is blocked at that point. So no other students are able to get into the class. And so that student has held the spot in that class as well. So we do have to charge for the class at that point.
That makes sense. So, and this is something I just thought of. So if a student drops after the drop date, they're not responsible for their full tuition cost. And they leave. Are they able to make a payment plan? Or payment plans are only allowed for students that are current students?
So as long as it's still in the same semester, then there may still be, it would really depend on when it is. There
Okay.
may still be a 2 or 3 installments left that they could use. However, when it gets later in the semester, we do stop the enrollment in that because there is an enrollment fee, and we just don't feel like it's fair to charge them an enrollment fee whenever you only have 1 or 2 payments left. So
That makes sense. Okay. So are families able to call business services to inquire about the balance on their student's account?
right. So you touched on this earlier. There is the lovely FERPA laws that we talked about, and students are considered an adult once they come to university. And I know it's hard for parents to wrap their head around that because they do feel like they are financially responsible for the bill. However, the bill is the student's bill, unfortunately. So whenever a parent does call, we try to answer questions, general questions, as generically as possible. We do try to help them. My philosophy is to ask the parent ultimately, what is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? And a lot of times I can help them in other ways rather than actually provide numbers and protected information. Therefore, ultimately, to answer your question, we can't answer protected financial information over the phone. That's the reason why we highly, highly recommend that your student sets you up on the parent portal. That way you can access all of that information. It's a lot easier for us to answer questions if you're saying, what is this charge for such and such? And we can kind of help get you to where you need to go. If you're logged into SOAR, we can point you to where you can find that information. But we cannot actually give you that information over the phone due to those federal privacy laws getting more strict on us.
Yes, absolutely. And we do know that tax season is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be here before you know it. And this topic will likely be at the top of the discussion, the 1098T form. So what is a 1098T form, and are students able to obtain one from you guys?
Yes. So a 1098T form is the tax form that USM provides students to report any claimable expense. This is where it gets a little confusing for parents. The federal government has earmarked certain expenses that are considered taxable, claimable on your taxes. So a lot of times that does not include dorm, meal plans, things like that will not be included on the 1098T. So any payments made toward those are not included on your 1098T. So it will be tuition, some course fees. So it really will depend on what the course fees are marked for, on whether or not we can include those on 1098T. The form is available through SOAR as well, so it's very easy to get. They will be available by the end of January. We do try to get them out a little bit earlier than that, but that is when they're guaranteed to be available on SOAR by the end of January. They can also find the 1098T by clicking on the student dashboard and student account, and there's an option to view 1098T. So it's fairly easy to find as well.
Wonderful. That is so good to know. January will be here before we know it. It's already December. It's crazy to think that. I know. It was just August, and now it's like, okay, it's 2021's over.
I know.
So last question, let us know where you guys are located on campus and how can students and families reach you should they need to make an appointment or pay a bill? How can they find you guys?
We are located in Forest County Hall. We are located on the first floor. Our department is open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. No appointments needed. And we try to always have somebody there that can answer any degree of questions. We usually have a manager on staff as well during that time. We can be reached at business.services@usm.edu. We can be reached at 601-266-4137 as well. And those are all ways that you can reach us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mrs. Roberts. We really appreciate you joining us today's Seymour Scoop and providing such helpful information about business services, who you guys are, where you're located, information on tuitions and lab fees and payment plans, all of which is vitally important. These are things that affect every single student.
I will tell you,
yes.
Ashley, also as well, on usm.edu, if you scroll to the bottom to the A to Z, you can find business services. And that is one of the things I have tried to keep updated. And we keep all of our current due dates. Our payment options are listed there as well. So we do try to keep that updated for current payments. Any information that have to do with payments, we do try to keep it out there as well. And it just gives parents and students a good place to reference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will be sure. So you guys, if you weren't able to join us at the very beginning of this live video, it will remain on the Parent and Family Facebook page. So feel free to go back and rewatch at your convenience. I will also, in the comment section, in the description section, I will also provide their contact information, including the website. So how you can reach business services by phone, by email, as well as clicking on their website, and all of the questions, FAQ pages. I believe there's FAQ page on there. And so just answers and questions that you might have. I'll make sure to include those as well. We thank you so much again for joining us. We're so grateful to have this platform and this opportunity to meet each month. We'll be back next year. This is our last one for 2021, our series for 2021. And we're just hoping that you guys will enjoy your students when they come home. It is the final stretch to the fall semester. Next week is final exams. Students will be dipping out after their exams and will be coming home to you with open arms, ready to celebrate the holidays. And we look forward to starting off a very strong semester in the spring. As always, Parent and Family Programs is here to assist you. We are located in the Center for Student Success in Cook Library in room 138. Our email address is parents.family@usm.edu. Parents and family@usm.edu. And that's parents with an S. Our phone number is 601-266-6405. And you can reach us Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, thank you so much for joining us for the Seymour Scoop. All of our parents and families, if you are not currently a member of the Parent and Family Association, you can join today. It is a free membership. It is on our webpage, usm.edu/success, student success. You can look up Parent and Family Programs and find Parent and Family Association and join today. Once a month, we send out newsletters, and our December newsletter will be distributed tomorrow. And so that way you can stay in the know to important information. This month's newsletter will include information about move-in, finals week, graduation, move in for the spring semester, all the things that you should know. So make sure to join today. If you are not a member, make sure to sign up to get a part of the association so that you can begin getting those newsletters each month. Again, thank you so much, Ms. Roberts, for joining us.
Thank you.
Reach out to her if you have any questions about business services. And again, thank you again. We'll see you in the new year. Southern Miss, to the top.